What is up, YouTube? Good morning. Uh, discard my comfy clothes. um, good morning. It is February 3rd, and this video is gonna be not too long. I did finish reading 3 books finally. So I'll go over those 3 that I finished reading, and then I'd figure we'll go over my February TBR. I apologize for the barking in the background. Those are my mom's 2 dogs. One of them, he's deaf and partially blind. He's pretty old. So when one barks and then loud enough, he'll hear the frequency and he just starts barking. So I apologize, and if you hear that noise, that is my dog who's currently in the room here, being a pain in the booty. So without further ado, let's begin. So the first book that I finished reading was The Shining by Stephen King. Now, if you've seen in my previous videos, I don't have just the Shining book. I have a Stephen King's Collector's Edition book that has The Shining, Salem's Lot, and I believe the other book is Carrie, all in the same book. And so I decided I just wanted to read The Shining from there, just for now. I'll probably most likely read the rest of the stories for Halloween this year, later on down the year. But anyway, if you see me looking down, by the way, it's because I'm looking at my reading journal. I'm looking at my notes, just to kind of like refresh my mind of what I want to say to you guys. So, to begin with the book, I really enjoyed the story. It's definitely very scary. I wouldn't recommend. I would say I wouldn't recommend a young teen to read it. It might scare them up too much. And I know there's some adults that it's really messed with their mind a lot, and I do get that. I really do. There's definitely a lot more scary attributes in the book than what's mentioned in the movies. I mean, yeah, the movie, it was pretty scary and intense, but when you read the book, the descriptions of certain parts from the movie that's based from the book, it's more in depth in book. It's a lot scarier, and there's stuff in the book that never made it into the movie. The movie that I'm talking about is the one starring Jack Nicholson. I enjoyed the movie. I love it. Don't get me wrong, my husband loves the movie. But in that same sentence, I definitely understand why Stephen King got upset when this movie was finally released, because there's a lot of big differences between what he actually wrote and what they put on film. So with that respect, I definitely understand where he was upset. The movie is definitely not exactly like the book, like it was intended to be. But they're both good in their own way. The second book that I finished was In My Dreams, I Hold a Knife, and that was by Ashley Winstead. In my last video, I showed you what the book looked like. Beautiful cover. And as soon as I finished reading it, I did put it back on my shelf, and I didn't feel like pulling it back out. So, anyway, love this book. It was amazing from beginning to end. And without any spoilers, basically, it's about these 7 students of this school called Touquet Academy. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And they become best friends, and they end up getting the title called East House 7. while they're in school, in college, one of their friends ends up murdered. And throughout the book, you don't really know who did it, and it goes back and forth between the past when they were all in school to the present time, in which the present time they well, 5 of the 6 come back for, they call it homecoming, but it's more familiar as I know it as class reunion. And so they come back to the university, and throughout their time there, they're trying to figure out who killed their friend and why. This book was written so well. You can picture very vividly what each one looks like. You can picture vividly what the school looked like, the beauty in this that the school had. When you read the past when they're in school, you can really relate to them in college life and how college really is, or how it could be to some people, as far as getting into sororities and fraternities. And you can relate with each character. And the way the book is, or at least in my opinion, is at some point, as you learn more about each character, you'll start guessing on who did it, sorry. And then once you actually find out who did it, I was in total shock. I was completely wrong with my guess. Just completely wrong. I thought I was right. I thought I had it. I was like, okay, we got this. This has to be it. But nope. I was wrong. Once you start reading this book, you don't want to stop. This is a great book for the older teen to adult. I say that because and there's only one time in the book, but there's a very descriptive sex scene, I should say, that I would not generally like for, like, if I had a daughter who was, like 16 on down. No, she's not reading this. I wouldn't feel comfortable with her reading that. Not even at 17. 18? Okay, maybe because, she's 18, she's an adult. She knows better. I hope. But that's the only reason why I said, like, an older crowd to read this book. I definitely highly recommend this book to anybody who loves a nice thriller. I mean, it's amazing. You go back and forth. The college life, it's like nice and cozy. You're learning about the characters. You're learning about the school. And then once the action starts to kick in, it grabs you by, like, your throat. And it doesn't want to let you go until the end. It wants to eat you up until you can figure out who did it and why. I would say the ending, it was a very good ending. I did like how it ended. I do want to say the reason why the friend was murdered was a little sad to me. I won't get into it more further than that because I don't want to spoil anything. But it does teach you a lesson that you hear growing up. Be careful who you talk to. Be careful who you trust, because they might not seem who you think they might be. So that's definitely into this book here. Yeah, that's that book. I love that so much. I liked it a lot. I don't know. I might read it again for Halloween because the Halloween vibe. It definitely has a good vibe for Halloween, so we'll see when that time comes. And the last book that I finished, excuse me, oh Lord, sorry, was Coraline by Neil Gaiman, or Gaiman. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name. But I do gotta say, I really, really enjoyed it. I've watched the movie several times. This is my first time actually reading the book, and I really, really enjoyed it. The movie did a really good job staying very close to the story of the book, with only just a few small differences. But all in all, they were both equally fantastic. I highly recommend both. I do, however, recommend you read the book first and then watch the movie if you haven't watched the movie just yet. So that way you fully understand the story. So then when you watch the movie, you'll know the original story, and you'll notice the little differences between the book and the movie. I know I watched the movie first and then I read the book. Do I regret it? No, not really. I did notice one of the differences right away, and it kind of confused me. I had to look it up to make sure I wasn't crazy, or if I had like a special edition book that I didn't realize. But no, I was saying it is a difference. um, it's definitely a great spooky story. I like how it blends spooky with humor. I mean, it is a middle grade book and a family movie, so it was more meant for like the younger viewers, which is fine. But I think it still had enough spookiness for all ages and enough humor for all ages. The movie was actually directed by Tim Burton, which he's very famous. He's made tons of movies. He's made Nightmare Before Christmas, Corpse Bride, Edward Scissorhands, things of that nature. So this movie, him directing this movie, was a perfect fit. I enjoyed it a lot. So those are the 3 books that I've read. I know The Shining, I did start reading it. I don't even remember when I had put in the video that I was going to read it, or claimed to start to read, but I actually didn't start to be able to read it until the end of December. And so basically I decided it'll slide into what was my January TBR. I do want to point out, I know there's a lot of YouTubers out there that they'll read like 10, 15 books a month. I know one YouTuber, Katie, she just read a total of like 25, 30 books, I think, in January, which is, great for her, that they're able to do that and enjoy doing that. With me, I don't try to read so many books a month. I try to just read a few, and whenever I kind of have the time to read, or whenever I just feel like just sitting back and reading in between my daily life. So for me, I'm not really in a race to see how many books I can read in a month. It's just whatever books I enjoy reading, and if I finish it, the next book I'll like to read, and then just tally it up at the end of the month. So I'm gonna show you one by one the 5 books that I picked out to be my TBR for February. Will I be able to read all these by the end of February? I don't know. I can't make any promises. But we'll see. I do plan on doing another video, like my next video after I read these, is I want to do a video of reading the Nevermoor Trilogy, or series I should say, because there's a 4th book coming out soon. well, not soon enough. I'm dying for it to come out. I did read the first book, however, on my Kindle several months ago, and I just really, really, really enjoyed it. And my husband surprised me and had got me the box set of the 3 books in the series that are already out. So I'll definitely plan on rereading that first book again, just because I just love that story and just a little refresher of my brain before I go into the next one. So if you'd like to see a video of that, go ahead and comment below and let me know. And before I continue, guys, don't forget to subscribe below and hit the notification bell so that way you'll always be alerted when I come out with new videos. This year, I'm going to try to make some more frequent videos as much as I can. There might not be so many book videos per se this year. Only because it's this year, well, right now, it's a little tough for me to get new books right now. So I might be able to, I might be doing like different videos in between. Next month, at the end of next month, my husband and I are taking a trip to Indiana so I can meet some of his family. So while I'm there, I might try to pick up some books while I'm there. And if so, I'll definitely let you guys know. You'll definitely see a haul video of what I've got from there. And just have fun with it. So, to begin, the first book that I plan to read is called The Miracle on Ebenezer Street by Katherine Doyle. And basically, this is a middle grade version of the retelling of The Christmas Carol, which is about, in The Christmas Carol, it is about a grumpy old man, basically lives on his own, and the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future come to visit him to try to basically open his eyes and get him to realize what path he's going on and basically help him to change his ways and how he is. And basically, this story is a retelling of that. This time it's with a family here. And it's very thin, so it shouldn't take me too long to read this book. I did get this book because I just love the cover. I found out about this book from a YouTuber named Gavin. His YouTube name is How to Train Your Gavin. He did a video either in November or December of last year, and he was just talking about this book and how he really enjoyed it. So I went ahead and I picked it up. I meant to read it in December, but it didn't happen, so I figured I'll just read it now. So that's that book. The second book I have here, and disregard the stickers, I haven't taken them off. That's another thing. If you guys know how to get off these little stickers without destroying the covers, please let me know, because I am desperate on getting these stickers off, and I don't want to destroy the book covers because they're so pretty. So this next book is called Daughter of the Deep by Riordan, and I don't know if you can see how the lettering, the silver, how it shines. Like, this book is just so beautiful and gorgeous with the bright blue, and it's just fantastic. This book won the Goodreads Choice Awards for middle grades, so that was actually amazing. And Riordan was a very good author. He's written so many other books. He's written the Peter, is it a Peter Jackson? I want to say Peter Jackson. I feel like I'm saying it wrong. But anyway, this book is about a girl named Anna, who is a freshman in this particular high school that's not your average high school. in your average high school, you're only there for 4 years. This one that she's in lasts, it has 5 years instead of 4. And the main study she's doing there is marine biology, I think it is, or is it marine science? Marine science. And Anna, everything's going fine with her, and she ends up going on basically like this class trip with her class. And while they're on the bus and they're on their way to their destination, they end up seeing something really bad. And it's at that point where her professor mentions to her that her school and another rival school have been in this huge war against each other for a long time. And it's basically her adventure through it and using her skills and what she can do. So I'm really, really excited to read this book, especially then, now it won an award. Yeah, I can't wait to read this book and let you guys know what my thoughts are. So that's that. The next book in the series is Amari and the Night Brothers. I am just in awe with this book cover. You kind of didn't see it, but it's got the nice bright blues and metallic, and it's very pretty and very shiny, as you can see. Now, this book is about this girl, Amari, whose little brother had gone missing. And it got to the point where everybody basically just gave up looking for him and thought that, he's gone, he's dead. They don't know what happened to him. But the whole time, Amari feels like he's still alive somewhere out there, and she just doesn't know where. Until one day, she ends up finding a unique suitcase in her brother's closet with a letter for a magical school. And so she decides to go to this school to try to find her brother. And this is the first book of a new series that's in the making. This is the first book. I actually have a picture of the second book. It's called Amari and the Great Game, and its release date is for August 30th of this year. And this is the cover picture. I know this picture doesn't do it justice. I just know the way the first book looks. Yeah, it's gonna be a nice cover, and I can't wait to read this book too. I did find out there is a movie scheduled to be filmed based on the first book, but there still hasn't been any information on when it's supposedly gonna be released or started. So I'm anxious to find all that information out as it comes along. I think it would be a really good story. I can't remember his name for the life of me, but one of the main actors that's going to star in the movie, he was also in the Iron Man movies. He was the cop that was best friends with Tony Stark. So he's going to be one of the main characters, and he's a good actor, so I know this movie's going to be awesome. Put my tablet there. So this next book is The Night She Disappeared by Lisa Jewell. Now this book is about a young couple that they were 19 years old. They have a child, and there's one particular day they decide to go out to go to this party. To have fun, probably have a couple drinks, get away from the parenting life just for a bit. And that night, they don't come home, and they just disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to them. So a lot of people, they just feel like they don't know what happened. The husband's parents aren't too worried about it. They feel like they just ran away to get away from their parent. responsibilities, but the wife's mother's not convinced because the night before they disappeared, she accidentally found an engagement ring. So the whole way of them disappearing doesn't make sense to the mom. But then about a year later, is it? Yeah. 1 year later, after they disappeared, this particular writer ends up moving into this little house, and she starts to walk through these forest area. This forest area. It's called the Dark Place. And it's called the Dark Place because that's where the couple supposedly had disappeared from. And she comes across a little paper with a note on it that says "Dig here," and the story goes from there. I'm a huge fan of Lisa Jewell. The last book I read from her was Then She Was Gone. I loved it. I gave that one 5 stars. I have a couple others of hers that I still plan to read that I haven't read just yet. But Lisa Jewell writes thriller books, like intense thriller books, like it gets you in your feels. This one was very highly rated and highly recommended. So I went ahead and I grabbed it again. I just love the cover. It's the way it feels, a soft texture. I can't wait until I start reading this one. And this last book, and I'm kind of embarrassed to show this last book because I know I've showed it in several other videos as listed in my other TBRs, and now it's on this one because I still haven't read it yet, and I know I need to. And that's the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. And basically, it's about a group of women that live in this neighborhood that they create what's called a book club on the outside, but on the inside, it's a secret group that they get together and they're basically plotting how to kill I think it's their neighbor who moves in that they believe is a vampire. So I've been dying to read this book and just never had the chance to. Sorry, I just noticed something. I just wanted to check it. And I just really want to read it. This takes place in the 90s, which was another big reason why I got this book, because I was born in the 90s. So, and I've always liked to try to find books that took place in the years that I was born and grew up in. And so I picked this one up. A lot of people enjoy this book. I'm always seeing this book pop up on my Facebook channel. And so I can't read this book and kind of go back in time in the 90s. And yeah. So that is the 5 books. I'll show you again. I'm just trying to pile them. That's them right here that I plan to read for February. I'm really hoping I'll be able to get through all of these by the end of February. If not, a little bit in the beginning of March. My birthday is also coming up. It's in March, so that'll be fun to go over. I do have 2 books that I pre-ordered. Well, 1 book that I pre-ordered. That comes out on February 8th, that I'll be picking up, and then I'll be making a video of that. And then I have 2 other books that are pre-ordered that they come out March 8th. So I'll definitely, again, show a video with that. And that about wraps up today's video. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If there's any books that you didn't see here that you think I would enjoy, please don't be afraid to comment below. I know I say this in every video, and nobody ever leaves me any comments, and I'm not exactly sure why, but I really want you guys to leave some comments down below, what you think I should do for my next videos, where I could improve, where I'm weak at, so I can improve in that category, what books you want to see me read, and what videos you want to see me do, and just have fun with it. The best opinions come from you guys, my subscribers. Without further ado, I'll go ahead and end this video before I start rambling for 3 hours, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!